Yeah, it's mindset cafe, we all got that mindset. Gotta stay focused, never settle for less. It's all in your head, how you think you manifest. So get ready to rise, cause we about to be the best. Gotta switch it up, gotta break the old habits. Get your mind right, turn your dreams into habits. No negative vibes.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Cafe podcast. It's your boy Devin, and today we actually got a special guest. We got one of our trainers / manager at Str11ve Fitness. We got Matt with us, Matt. But today, just like every other live episode, it's a Q&A, right? So we got some topics to talk about, some things to cover, but more so if you guys got any questions on personal development, fitness, mindset, Matt's actually in the cupping and stretching field, some crazy stretches he was just showing me that you saw on Instagram that he's going to start utilizing.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Matt, how are things going, man?
Everything's good. I actually had a bunch of clients this morning and just came here to hang out with you.
Nice. So when you say I know you covered like back when we first started the podcast, like you were on talk about cupping and stuff, but talk about just real quick before we get into the show, like what do you do with your clients and stuff?
Everyone's different. Some people come for just a nice stretch session. Usually though, everyone wants the full thing. I start off with a little e-stim therapy to loosen up the nerves and the tendons and joints, and then stretch them out, and then add the cups, and depends on how messed up they are. And that's about how long it takes. It's like there's some people that have knots the size of golf balls, and there's some people that are just pretty easy. They maintain and they keep stretched and hydrated, so they're not as hard to work on.
No, yeah, I got you. Guys, again, in the show notes or in the comments, you guys got questions, please ask. Feel free. Any questions are valid questions. Besides, what kind of crazy stretches Matt's going to be doing with some clients,
That's okay too.
Yeah, sign up and find out. But let's dive into some different topics today. I know the last live episode that we did with Nick, it was kind of diving in, and Matt, so you're aware too, was like this is like continuing conversation, which was like mindset hacks or just like thought process like changes to really finish off the year 2024 strong. And so the first one I want to go into is prioritizing your time, right, for maximum impact. And this is something that both you and I and Nick, are fairly good at, with all the different things that we're doing. Like you said, right before coming on this podcast, you're with clients, and that doesn't really change when you're working here too. So what would your advice be when someone gives you like, I have too many things to do in the day, or I don't have enough time to work out? What is your advice for like really maximizing their time?
I mean, really, you just got to find a way. Like just if you're determined to get something done, then just do it. Just figure it out. Like if you have to go to bed half hour early and wake up half early, get up and do it. Like don't be lazy. Just put your mind to it and do it. That's it.
Yeah, I think the first thing comes from like realizing that it's an excuse.
It is definitely an excuse.
So it's like if someone says that they can't do it because of this or that, it really comes down to, okay, you didn't want to wake up earlier. You didn't want to go to sleep a little later, right? And knowing from like some of the stuff that you do on the side too, like some of the bar work and everything, like there's plenty of time to get things done.
You just got to do it. Just put your mind to it. And it's hard. It's not easy, that's for sure. But if you're determined enough and you're hungry enough, you're going to get it done.
No, exactly. What would be one of the biggest excuses that you've heard in the gym that you just is like you hate when someone says it? When someone gives you that excuse, if you ask them, where they've been at, or if they're sticking to the nutrition, they give you that excuse. What is that one that just drives you nuts?
I think it's actually mostly the nutrition. I think, it's not that hard if you really just do it and plan a little time to prep your food or even order a meal service. It's super easy if you don't have time to actually make the food. If you want to eat healthy, you can. Like, I know it's not the easiest, but like sometimes it's like we all cheat every once in a while, but it's not that hard if you just plan everything. It's just put your mind to it. Like I said, again, I think it's easy if you actually just focus on it.
Yeah, honestly, like I think like what you said too is important. It's like plan. If you're not planning your day out the day before, or structuring it, because I know, like, when I asked you if you wanted to do this live episode, right, you already knew your schedule for today to a degree, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we both live on schedules, but it's not a bad thing, and it's not like it has to be on schedule or else so I don't do it. It's just like I know my structure of my day, and so I know that if something's a priority, it's going to go on my calendar. And then, like, the perspective I take is like, if you have a glass jar, right, and you fill it with stones, or let's say you fill it with sand first, and then you try to put some stones in, not as many are going to fit, and then you try to put some bigger rocks in there, you might get one. But if you start off with putting the rocks in first, and then the stones or pebbles to fill in the gaps in between the rocks, and then you pour the sand in, you can fill a whole glass jar, right? Absolutely. So same thing goes for like your day. It's like plan out those like super important things that you want to get done, and then let the rest happen.
Yeah, that's the great thing about this place is even if you just have a half hour, and like you can get a really good workout in a half hour. So so yeah, there's no excuses here.
That's not a pitch, for Str11ve, but if you're not a member, it is what it is.
Yeah.
What would be your take on, scarcity mindset versus like abundance mindset, or, same question, different flip of the coin is, thinking of an opportunistic mindset versus like a closed-minded mindset, like what are your thoughts on that? Like, what is the importance of it? How have you experienced it in your journey and in your life, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, just like 3 or 4 years ago, I was like rock bottom in my life, and I had to change my perspective on everything. So I just started to be more disciplined. I took better care of myself. I switched careers to something I actually enjoy now. I was miserable. So, I mean, I saw some opportunities, I took them, and, I just pushed myself. And with that being said, I think it's important to actually listen to your body and also take care of yourself on the other end. If your body's saying like, oh, you need to slow down for a minute, then, slow down for a day, and that's okay.
Yeah. No, and I think what's cool about that is like, I remember when you first came in, and almost 3 years ago, right? And yeah. We'll be hitting 3 years next month. And the thing was, the thing that interested me about you is like, we had other people coming in that were trainers on resume, right?
Yeah.
And you were not a trainer on resume. Like, yeah, you had sales, and yes, you had these other things like managerial experience, but your experience came from like the bar industry and other things. And it was like, let's still do it. Let's see what happens. And then all of a sudden having a conversation with you and having, and talking with you and seeing you, light up when you're on the floor, I was like, this is it. Like, this is what we want. Right. And so saying yes to new opportunities, both when someone presents it to you or when you see it for yourself, like you said, you weren't happy with what you were doing. So you pivoted to something you were more passionate about and liked more. Right. So what do you think, what would you tell someone that's either in, let's say, a career space or in a life position that they're just doing it because that's their norm, but they know they want to do something else?
I would just say, I know it's hard. I lived off credit cards for a year, transitioning careers, but I would much rather be happy than to be miserable, stuck working at a place that I can't stand, and just miserable every single day. Just for your mental health, your emotional health, everything, like your personal goals and everything are just going to be so much better if you're actually doing something that you enjoy. So take the risk, like do something that makes you happy. You only have one life, so live it. And like, there's no point in just sitting there stagnant, like miserable, like you're just going to fall deeper into a pit like I did.
And I think that's like the crazy thing too, is like knowing where you, like when you first started here, right? When we first came on the team, you're a completely different person than that now. Not saying personality wise, but like as a trainer professionally, right? I knew you already knew how to sell. I knew you knew how to do those things. You knew how to communicate. That was never an issue. But like those things, like just because you're not the best at that industry compared to what you are currently doing, doesn't mean that you can't get just as good, right? And continue to grow. And I think that's one thing that you are really good at, and really like showing by example, is like you continuously get better day by day, week by week, month by month. Not just from a trainer's standpoint, but from, a fitness standpoint, from the cupping, from everything. Like you've grown to more knowledge. You learned cupping, you learned all these other things. Like, that's the cool thing. It's like, so how would you say, like for you personally, right? I've mentioned this before, but when your energy is low, because I know our days can be long, right? Not just at the gym, but like both of our calendars are can get crazy. What would you say when your energy is low? How do you stay motivated? Then I'll go on off of you or after you.
I just think about the people. I'm like, I don't want to let these people down. Like they're what you're like on stage basically, and I don't want to let someone else down. So
For those that don't know, Matt used to dance on stage.
uh, maybe once or twice.
No, I'm just playing. No, but I mean, like, have you ever thought about this? Because I mean, I've thought about this personally. Is like, obviously your kid's a little bit older, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think what I think is so cool about your journey too is like you've demonstrated indirectly, like for your kids, that you can pivot at any point in life, and you can do whatever you want to do if you just set your mind to it, right? And it's just because you're used to doing something or you're comfortable doing something doesn't mean you have to get stuck. And I think that was like a huge take on me when you came in, and I didn't know you had kids, everything right away.
Right.
Learning that too, and then seeing that, and it really made me think about it. It's like those are the kind of lessons like we want to teach our kids, right? Not just tell them, yeah, you can be whatever you want to be. It's like, you're literally, you switched 180 degrees from having people get fucked up in the bar to, hey, you probably shouldn't drink that much because you're not going to lose weight, right? Which is the cool thing. And I think that's one of the awesome things that your kids get to see. Have either of your kids mentioned that career switch or that pivot switch?
I mean, I'm really close to my son. We talk about it every once in a while, but yeah, he always, like, we talk every single day. He tells me how proud he is and I'm the best dad and he loves me and all that stuff. I think it's really cool for a 20-year-old boy to be saying things like that. So it's that makes me feel really good about everything I've been doing, for sure.
See, those are the cool things. Those are the ones where, like, that's what kind of lights you up. I bet it's like when he says that, it's like you already believe in yourself and stuff. Like, to get that praise, not just from like me telling you or Nick telling you or someone else telling you, but like from your kid. I can only, like, I look forward to those days, like, because I know with my daughter only being 2, like, her sentences go all over the place. But I think that's so cool, that you've said that and that you've done it, for yourself. I think Patty mentioned in the comment, it's a trend at Str11ve, the dancers. Nope, Patty, that's just Nick. Nick is our stripper on staff.
Pretty much.
And Nick, you should have been here, man, so you can defend yourself. But hit him up. He's for hire.
Or dance, yeah.
Just kidding. But hey guys, if you guys have any questions, again, I'll keep saying it until you guys, stop being little chicken shits and start throwing it in the comments. What do you guys have questions on your own journeys, right? On whether it's mindset, whether it's family, whether it's relationships, right? We have 2 different perspectives here to give it to you. You guys got a new perspective as well, so take advantage of it, right? This is why we do it. This is why Matt came in early today to chat it up with you guys, right? He didn't have to, yeah, he didn't have to come in, but he wanted to give you guys a different perspective than just mine and Nick's old perspectives.
Like an old married couple.
Seriously. What would your take be on for like consistency, like daily wins, weekly wins? Like, how do you manage it with yourself, or how have you managed it like over your career, like your whole career span? Like, how do you track if you're doing good, if you're accomplishing things, all those kind of things?
I just seeing, I guess that's kind of a loaded question, but seeing, like, for here, for example, just seeing people progress. I think it's so awesome to see people, like, when they do the challenge. And I know there's some people that lost like 20 pounds, 25 pounds, or gained 3 pounds of muscle or 4 pounds of muscle in just 11 weeks. And I see, like, some of these people in their faces, like, you see, like, they look amazing. And I think that's just a sign of success, that I could potentially have helped a little bit with that, at least, push them a little harder, or, make it more enjoyable to come here and, like, make it a little bit fun while you're being tortured at the same time.
No, honestly. And I think that for me, like, that's like one of the biggest, like, rewarding feelings. Like, I know from my personal training career to opening the gym and stuff, it's those light ups, like when you said, like, when a member is telling you, that they accomplished something, like when they show you a picture of themselves, right, and they're lit up about it, like, and you were able to have a piece of that, that journey or that transformation for them. That's the things that keep us motivated, right? We do it because we're here to help, and that's what really drives us to do the things that we don't want to do on the days we don't want to do them. So I mean, that's speaking from my personal experience. I mean, and that goes even into the team too. Like seeing them, I remember when you going into like when you first started, like you had a sales background, and then I was literally like, it was like trying to turn over a tractor. Like, it was like, I was like, bro, come on. Like, this is how you do it. We just have conversations here. And you're like, no, that's not how you do it. This is how you do it. And I was like, okay, watch. And so then I literally had to just go hard and just prove a point. And then you're like, oh, all right. And then all of a sudden you've developed into and blossomed into your own little flower, but that's one of those things where like, seeing that success, and all of a sudden now it's common sense to you, and like just to do it right and to do certain things a certain way where it wasn't before, and like seeing you grow, it's one of those things where it makes me happy, and stuff like that too. So I gotta definitely say that I do give you a round of applause for that. One thing I know you're actually really good at, and that's why I kind of saved this one for you from last time. The power of saying no, right? Now there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of things that we could do in a day. There's a lot of, requests that we get, let's say for jobs or whatever. What does the power of saying no do for you? Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Like, because at the end of the day, like if you try to appease everyone, right, and be everywhere at all times, like, it's impossible. So you have to say no to certain people, right? And also you have to be able to, like you said, recover and take time for yourself, your own time for your fitness and so forth. So saying no isn't a bad thing. You might hurt someone's feelings in the process, but at the same time, like you have to realize like you have to have enough in your cup that it's spilling over into other people's cups. If you're only giving from your cup, then eventually you're going to run dry.
Yeah. I mean, I think setting boundaries is definitely important. Just this week alone, like a lot of people were trying to book an appointment because everyone likes to wait till the last minute until they don't feel good. So then they book their appointments. But I just couldn't do it. And I was like, no, sorry, here's what I have. And that's just I can't kill myself to help everyone else at the same time. So I do set those boundaries and say no. I did fit one person in today, but like I also had the time to do that. It wasn't horrible.
Right.
But yeah, like there's people that say like, I only have time from here to here to here to here. And I'm like, well, I don't. So I'm sorry, but these are my times and that's what I have for you right now. So, because I work like 4 jobs, so I'm like all over the place, but I do try to be flexible and like get people in because I know it sucks when you're hurting and you can't get an appointment. But yeah, there are times where I'm sorry, like I can't do that.
Yeah, I mean that's why you gotta love California, right? But that's going to the jobs thing. But no, I definitely get it. I mean, that was the same when I was personal training. Like for some reason, when there was a holiday, everyone booked up an extra session or condensed into, and it was like, you have to realize you have to still set time aside for yourself or set those boundaries and be kind of stern on them to a degree. If you have the time, that time wasn't just created. That was because you planned your day out and allowed yourself a little bit of cushion. Now, if you want to give that cushion away to, fit someone in, that's your choice. But it's still at the end of the day, it's a choice. And so I think the power of saying no really comes down to realizing it is a choice. And if someone doesn't understand that and they almost expect you to do certain things or expect, like if I called you and I was like, hey, I need you to be here for a podcast. And it's like, I just expect you to do it. It's like, that doesn't work in life.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah. Like that doesn't work in life, right?
Yeah.
Your life, you have other things going on and moving parts. Like, me, the gym, like all those things are a piece of your day, right? Same thing with me, right? And so you have to realize that when I think we get so wrapped up in our own worlds that we tend to forget that other people have just as much going on in their lives. And it really goes into like even your interactions with people on a daily basis, right? Like for me, you might be in a rush or something, or someone comes off to you sideways and then all of a sudden you come off of them sideways. It's like, did you really need to, or are you just being reactive to them? Maybe their dog just died, maybe their mom just passed, whatever the case may be. And it's like they might be having the worst day ever, and you're not. You're just being reactive. You could have been that one light in their day, right?
For sure.
So all that starts with is realizing everything is a choice, from your emotions to saying no, all that. Now the topic of the day was really to simplify things for clarity, right? And while it seems very basic and very vague, why I wanted to talk about that is because I've had a few conversations, with people over the past couple of days, and they always ask these like crazy complex questions and stuff. And it's like some of their answers or some of their responses too, it's like, they try to go in depth and be a philosopher. It's like, sometimes it's a sentence, like our motto, never give up. Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think, like, for clarity, or for simplifying things for clarity, what is the necessity? When is it a necessity, in terms of like someone seeing their results or their goals? Let's say for nutrition, right? For nutrition, what would be the difference between being like super overthinking everything in I know you mentioned earlier, this is why I'm asking, like, cheat meals here, you mess up here. It's like, that's big picture, but it's like, did you eat enough protein today?
Exactly.
I'm
not going to say any names, but there was actually a member here that was in the challenge, and about halfway through, she was like, I suck, like I'm fucking everything up. And we had like a really good talk, and I was like, you still have like 3 weeks to go, girl. Like, step it up. And then just motivating her and seeing her actually like she's been in here for like hours every day, just crushing it. And I'm very proud of her. But yeah, sometimes like maybe she was going through something like you said, or maybe she just needed that like one person to be like, let's go.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see that, for sure.
No, and I think that like that's a huge thing too, is like realize that you could be that one person in that person's day that just gave them like that blossom of hope for the day, right? Also, it's like something you mentioned, like you still have 3 weeks left, right? This is what we were talking about in the last episode, was like, if the 2024 is not over yet, it doesn't mean you can't hit a small milestone towards your goal from now till the end of the year. So many people are setting their New Year's resolutions, and it's like, fuck, dude, like that's a month, over a month away. It's like, what about now? Set a goal now. Set a goal for this week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's the thing that drives me. Like that's the one thing that drives me crazy every year. It's like everyone sets the same New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and then they start strong January, February, they fall off, and then next year rolls around, same shit. It's like, dude, each month should be the resolution. Each week should be a resolution. Like, just hit that, right? Milestones are big stones. What are your 1 foot stones, your yard stones? What are the things in between the miles, right? So what would your advice be? I mean, let's go into depth of what your advice would be for like the person you were talking about, not mentioning names, but with someone like that you're like, yo, you still got 3 weeks left.
Yeah, first of all, fuck a New Year's resolution. I hate those. Like, why are you waiting until New Year's? Like, you have, like, just do it now. Like, it's not a big deal. So you're just gonna sit around and do nothing for the next month, or you're gonna eat like shit, or you're gonna not work as hard for the whole month? Like, why? Like, why are you waiting? Just do it. For that side note, but yeah, I was just like, you have 3 weeks left. Like you can literally finish in the top 3 in 3 weeks. I know you could if you actually just put your mind to it. Even because you weren't daft. You were like, yeah, you were closer to the bottom, but like you were eating like shit. You weren't eating your protein. You weren't pushing yourself as hard. You were coming late every single day, so you weren't getting your full workout that you wanted to get in. So why don't you fix all that and start doing it now?
Right.
So there's no future. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, suck it up. Like, it's okay if you have kids, if you take care of somebody, if you, whatever you have, like, just fucking do it. Just get it done.
Yeah. I mean, at least like the easiest way is at least start with one thing, right? Just show up on time.
Yeah.
Like, if you start there, you're going to already improve.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like the craziest thing too is like 11 weeks is a long time. And so people kind of foreshadow like, damn, I got to do this for the next 11 weeks. Right. And it's like, well, can you just do it this week? And then you finish the week. Can you just do it one more week, right? And same thing each day. Like, can you just do it one more day, one more time, right? And I think that's where like people get like so wrapped up in their goals or their New Year's resolutions or whatever the case may be, and then they need to wait until the next week or the next month or the next year to start again. It's like, what is the difference between Monday and Tuesday to start your goal or to get back on track? What is the difference between January and March? Like, you know, it's just a date on the calendar, right? You know, so it's like, if your goals, if you really wanted it that bad, then yes, you might make a mistake, but you're not going to make excuses, right? Like, believe me, you make mistakes. I make mistakes. That's fucking life
all the time,
you know, but it's like, that's just life. So it's like realizing that no one's perfect. You messed up. Okay. You had a cheat meal for breakfast and you shouldn't have. Just fix the rest of your day. Exactly. You ate fucking pancakes and you weren't supposed to have any carbs for breakfast. Okay, well, take your carbs out from lunch and maybe even dinner, depending on how much it is, and boom, at least you mitigated today, right?
Or if you really want pancakes, like maybe just do like 10 extra minutes of a workout or do something to make up for it. It's not that big of a deal.
Speaking of pancakes, have you had the green tea pancakes?
No.
Dude, those things smack. I'm not saying, you know, if you're on a meal plan, stick to your meal plan, but those green tea pancakes, those matcha green tea, those smack. But no, I mean, that's exactly it though. It's like so many people give themselves excuses, and excuses is really just shifting blame, right? If you messed up, you messed up. Why did you mess up?
Yeah, I've noticed, especially here on our challenges that we do, that people will weigh in the first time and then they'll be towards the bottom and then they'll just give up. And I'm just like, wow, why don't you just take it as a learning experience and grow from that and switch what you're doing and step it up a notch. It's not, it's never give up, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like, just like those weigh-ins are just to track where you're at, right? And that's not to motivate you or demotivate you. You should already be motivated to hit your goal. What is your goal? Like, yes, it's a challenge. Yes, there's a first place, second place, third place. But at the same time, like, are you doing better than you were previously doing before? Like, let's say you just started the challenge. This first challenge week, are you doing better than you were doing the week before the challenge started? Because that's what you should be doing. Because I mean, now you have a meal plan and all those kind of things. But if you're not, then it's like, okay, well, shit, I still got 10 weeks. Like, let's step it up a little bit, right? Exactly. And just get back on track. And what's crazy is I think we wait a lot of the times until the last minute. And I've actually seen some crazy results, and some people even like take lead in the last couple of weeks when they just put their mind to it. Just imagine if you would have been like that the whole fucking time, right? Like, that's the crazy thing is like, that should be the eye opener. And it happens so many times in different areas of life. Like I was telling Nick, you know, writing the book and stuff. I've been quote unquote working on this book all year long, right? Like in between other things. And when I say working on it all year long, I meant I thought of the name 1 month and then didn't touch it again. And then like 2 months later, I thought of something else. And then all of a sudden I was like, damn, my goal was to have this done at the end of the year. And so last week, I literally just audio recorded every single chapter pretty much, or actually chapters 5 through 11 in a week, and then sent it to the editor so that they can do it. And I was like, shit, I could have done this a long time ago, right? Exactly. But like we always wait. So it's like, my thing is, we set a year goal, we set a 5-year goal, a 10-year plan, right? What's stopping you from achieving those goals in half the time? Right? Because the majority of the time we give ourselves too big of a timeline, and then it's like we wait until the fourth quarter and it's like, oh shit, we got to get this done, you know?
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, procrastination is just the death of like anything progressive, really. Just get it done. Just do it. Just put your mind to it. If you want it, do it.
Yeah.
That's it. But I also understand I procrastinate all the damn time. So it's just sometimes when you're working 70, 80 hours a week, you're like, oh fuck, do I really want to do that right now?
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between like procrastinating though and like trying to fit things in. But I do get what you mean, because like there are certain things I'm like, oh fuck, I'll just do that later. Yeah. AKA like the book and stuff. But it's like sometimes, you know, I noticed this, you know, when I first had my daughter, like Nick was like, how are you doing those things? Like, you know, the dad duties is like, you just have to. You just like, just do it. You don't think about it. And for me, my biggest thing was like not sitting down right when I got home and just do the couple of things that I needed to do so that I didn't get tired or didn't get lazy, right? Because once you take that break or sit down, then it was game over for me.
That's not a Gemini thing to procrastinate, by the way, Patty. I think that's all humans.
I'm not a Gemini.
Yeah. Geminis are just crazy, but I'm a Gemini, by the way, so no offense to anybody. But yeah, everybody does. Everybody procrastinates, like every single person at one point or another. So just gotta find a way to push through it. That's it.
And then see, Adriana said, where can we get these matcha pancakes at? Well, since you're out of the challenge now, Adriana, there's a few places around here. There's the CC's. Where's that other spot that we had breakfast for the team meeting at one time? Like down the street. Coral Tree? Is that a place?
I don't remember what it's called.
I think it's called Coral Tree. Both places have CC's is still the OG spot on Ventura.
G just joined. She would know. She's the one that wanted it. G,
put in the comments where you get those green tea pancakes at, because I know your ass is the one that got them. I'm putting you on blast. And then Patty said it is hard to say no sometimes. It is, but watch this. No. Like it's that easy, right? The only thing that's hard about saying no is your in like your own mindset around it, right? You don't want to hurt someone's feelings. You don't want to, have them feel like you don't want to show up for them. And at the end of the day, that's not the case, right? You don't need to make an excuse. It's 2 letters, no, right? And then, if you do need to make an excuse, this is my go-to one. And if you get this from me, realize that I'm not showing up. If I say, oh yeah, maybe, I'm not coming. Like that's my go-to, right? I just put myself on blast for that one. So if you get that from me, just know I'm not going to be there. And then Auntie J, small wins add up. They definitely do, right? Consistency beats intensity, right? Actually, let's go on that real quick. I know we're kind of crunch on time before the gym opens, but with this being a high intensity boot camp and stuff, right? And the workouts can be intense, or your exercise when you're here, you should be putting in intense work. Consistency versus intensity.
I think every time you're here, like sometimes you're not feeling the same. Sometimes you're not as energetic. Sometimes you maybe slept an hour. Sometimes work fucking sucked and you're just like, oh, I just really don't want to do this. But just find a way to push through it. Take some pre-workout or drink an energy drink and just do it. Just get it done and, give it your all that you can in that moment. Like, don't just come here and mope around. Like, at least try, And
I say, fuck that. Be consistently intense. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. No, but no, it's the small wins, right? It's the small things that add up. Like if you drop if you drop water on a rock, over time it's going to create a hole, right? Now, at the end of the day, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should just come in and half-ass it all the time, right? Because that's not being really consistent or intense. Just because you showed up doesn't mean anything. You have to show up and give your best. Your best might fluctuate day to day, and that's your intensity, but you're still giving what you got, what reserves you have in the tank. One of the clients, when we were doing this in the park, before we opened the doors here, she told me, she said, well, at least I showed up. Isn't that enough? And my response was, you can go to the library and not read, and that's the truth. Just because you're here doesn't mean anything. If you want to high five, you want to post it on, Facebook, your little check-in, cool. But that doesn't do anything for you or your results, right? So
even if you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling well, just give it everything you can in that moment. Do what you can.
Geraldine, we're still waiting on where you get the green tea pancakes from whenever you get a chance.
She's probably eating some right now.
I want to say it was Coral Tree, but yeah. But I mean, what New Year's resolutions have you heard from people so far?
I haven't really heard any. If I did, I would honestly say, why are you waiting until New Year's? That would be my response. Like, no one's told me New Year's resolutions. So if you tell me, I'm going to say start now. Why the fuck are you waiting?
I think that just comes down to like revisiting your purpose, right? Like you have a purpose and why you wanted to do that as a New Year's resolution, right? So that means it's something that's been weighing on you. So it's like, why not just start now? Why wait, right? If there's a real why, or there's a real purpose behind it, a real goal behind it, right? Then just start.
Yeah, then you're gonna hear, oh well, the holidays are coming, I'm gonna eat cookies and I'm going to have shitty food and I have to travel. And I was like, so, and it's just work. It just gets work.
Patty says, waiting the seating challenge to start. What the hell are you talking about, Patty? Oh, Rena says BB's matcha pancakes. Oh, I haven't had that one. Put it on my list. You know, matcha. I mean, Rena, why don't you come out with some matcha pancakes? Some Rena's Cafe. You know,
right.
Throw your little spin on it. Throw your stuff out there. Come on.
Make them healthy.
Or don't. But analysis paralysis. Right. That was one of the topics I wrote for kind of our whole thing on simplifying. Now, when you think of like, you know, your goals, or you think about 2024, 2025, you know, your weigh-ins, whatever the case is, whatever your goal is, right? You should be analyzing where you're at, analyzing how things are going, right? But at the same time, that shouldn't be stopping you from continuing to do what you need to do, right? There should be no paralysis, right? You're analyzing it for a reason. You analyze it so that you can continue to move forward, right? What would your take be on someone that is saying that, you know, starting to go overwhelmed, or, you know, that's in their own head, or they have quote unquote analysis paralysis?
I've definitely been there before, so I can relate. Sometimes you just have to take a step back and reevaluate and reorganize your priorities. And, you know, what's most important? Is it most important to catch up on your favorite TV show, or is it, do you want to get that hour workout in? Like, what goal are you doing? Like, do you want to try those new pancakes, or do you want to eat healthy and clean and, you know, lose 5 pounds? Like, what do you want to do? Like, what's your goal? Like, just prioritize, reevaluate. So I have definitely been there, like I said, but it's not always easy, but you just push yourself.
No, definitely. I think that's one of those big things too, is like, sometimes you do need to take a step back. Sometimes you got to get a different perspective on it, or just get a clearer perspective on it. And sometimes you're so in it that you can't see everything, and everything starts to become a blur, right? So
talk it out, talk to someone, do whatever you have to do. Just like the member that was like, I fucking suck, like I'm not doing anything. And it was like, there's still 3 weeks left. What the hell are you talking about? Like, let's go. Like, change it. What are you doing wrong? Let's fix your diet. Let's get your ass up earlier, 10 minutes earlier, so you get your full hour workout in, or whatever you got to do. Just fix it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, is like 3 weeks doesn't seem like a long time, but that's 21 days, right? You times that by 24 hours. Like, I don't even know the math is off the top of my head, but that's a long time, right? For you not to give it your all. Patty said that her typo was because she was driving. She meant second challenge. Patty, make sure you drive safe. Appreciate the contribution in the comments, but please drive safe. And then Adriana said, you know, for me to give everyone a protein matcha recipe, thanks in advance. I mean, we could try, but I don't think it's gonna smack as well as the other ones, you know.
You never know. You can find something.
But with that being said, guys, you know, we gotta wrap up, because the gym's about to open. Make sure you guys are still showing up for your guys' selves, right? Make sure you guys are still finishing off the year strong, and make sure you guys aren't settling for, you know, that next Monday to start again, or that next New Year's resolution,
or that next challenge.
Yeah, or that next challenge. That shit's not until March.
Yeah, we're gonna work hard until then. We got 3 months until the next challenge.
So. Yeah, so make sure you guys are staying true to your purpose, your goals. But with that being said, we appreciate you guys. We love the support. Make sure you guys kick this year's ass. Right, Matt?
Absolutely.
There we go.
Right, I'll see you all tonight.
No negative vibes, only positive thoughts. Just in the game of life, mindset calls the shots. Got my mind on the prize, I can't be distracted. I stay on my grind, no time to be slack.